Welcome to Faith Meets Science. Before your first breath, long before modern nations were organized, a common symbol emerged in ancient civilizations: coiled scales, a split tongue, a creature that sheds its skin and eats its prey whole. Carved into temple walls, ancient ruins, and forgotten clay tablets, a familiar figure hisses back at you, the serpent. And the question hits you: why did every civilization choose the same creature to represent a mysterious concept? Because here's the part that really concerns you: that strange commonality of symbols that feels impossible to be coincidental. You see the serpent symbol repeated across continents and centuries of time. People separated by oceans, mountains, and 1,000s of years. The Mayas, the Sumerians, the Persians, the Hindus, the Greeks. All of them carved serpents into stone as if they were remembering something sacred and warning us at the same time. But what were they trying to say? Were they just reptiles that caught their fancy? Or symbols of something more sinister? Or entities our ancestors experienced and warned us about? Sometimes as an enemy or a monster, and sometimes as a messenger, a guardian, a keeper of forbidden knowledge. Listen carefully. The answer isn't found in conspiracy, neither in mythology, not even in superstition. It's found in collective comprehension of the cross-cultural phenomenon and then logical conclusion. We'll start where the academic trail is clearest: the Nagas of India and Sri Lanka, serpent kings of the deep. In Hindu and Buddhist tradition, the Nagas were not monsters. They were beings of wisdom, half human, half serpent, capable of taking human form when they desired. Described in the Puranas and Buddhist sutras as guardians of treasure, dwellers beneath and protectors of rivers, keepers of secret wisdom. They protected sacred knowledge hidden from the unprepared. Archaeology supports this mythology with iconography: multi-hooded cobras arching over divine figures, stone guardians carved into temple gates. Not necessarily proof of a literal race, but proof of a belief that shaped empires. To the people who built these temples, the serpent represented knowledge hidden beneath the surface. The wisdom you uncover only when you descend into the depths of your own soul.
To the spiritually minded today, the Nagas represent the influence and guidance of the King of Serpent. Satan, Lucifer, the devil, the father of lies. Pick your favorite.
Using knowledge not yet understood by mankind, the Nagas were able to gain power, influence, and status with the people. In Mesopotamia, Muma and the serpents of chaos travel west, into the cradle of civilization, and long before the Bible was written. Clay tablets from Sumer and Akkad speak of Muma, an exalted serpent, part lion, part bird, part snake, a creature of the deep waters. A symbol of chaos, matter unorganized. The untamed forces of creation. For these ancient civilizations, the serpent wasn't evil. It was a symbol of the struggle every civilization faces: order versus chaos, light versus darkness, spirit versus matter. And the serpent was the face of that tension.
The spiritually minded today understands the role of the serpent is to tempt mankind with pleasure, fun, excitement, and power. But what you end up with is darkness, fear, pain, and chaos.
In Mesoamerica, Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, all the way across an ocean, you find the same image. A snake, this time with feathers. Earth meeting sky. Matter meeting spirit. Humanity meeting the divine. To the Mayas and Aztecs, Quetzalcoatl wasn't a demon. He wasn't a monster. He was the god of wind, knowledge, dawn, and rebirth. The one who brought civilization to a people hungry for meaning. Archaeologists find his image across pyramids, codices, and sculpted stone. A serpent that ascends. A creature that refuses to crawl. A symbol of transformation.
Unfortunately, this led to a bloodthirsty society of human sacrifice. Not what I would call divine. Yikes!
The psychology, why the serpent symbol endures.
So what does all this mean? Here's the truth that most people miss.
The serpent appears everywhere not necessarily because a literal serpent race walked the earth, but because they were describing their experiences in the only language they had, through symbols. And the symbol of the serpent must have made the most sense to them. It is the symbol of what we don't understand, the unknown, undiscovered knowledge. The symbol of what we desire, our temptations, an alternate voice from within. The symbol of what we fear, and keeps us aware of our surroundings. If you think about it, to ancient people, the serpent became the perfect metaphor for transformation, hidden knowledge, temptation, renewal, the thin line between good and evil. This isn't random, this is the psychology of a sacred myth. Cultures created different serpent beings, but all were describing similar concepts. In post-biblical cultures, the spiritual embodiment of the serpent. This is where faith meets the archaeological record. When Genesis speaks of a serpent in the Garden of Eden, it's not describing a monster, but more of a voice, a temptation.
Take, eat, and understand.
When you compare this with the Nagas guarding hidden wisdom, or Quetzalcoatl offering knowledge to humanity, or the Sumerian serpent symbolizing chaotic matter struggling against divine order, you begin to see the pattern. The serpent is the embodiment of choice, temptation, and the exercise of free will. A creature of influence, offering a poisonous choice, an alternate voice with hazardous possibilities. The moment when humanity stands between two paths. One path of obedience to God's commandments, leading to eternal happiness. The other path of your own making, leading to knowledge gained through your own painful experience and even destruction. Every culture saw it. Every prophet warned about it. Every myth retold it. So what can we conclude is the serpent? It is the reminder that you are forever standing on holy ground. Between creation and collapse, between the divine calling above you and the primal instincts tugging at you from below. Across every culture, across millennia of time, every continent, every scripture, every myth, the serpent became the symbol of the boundary between the divine and the debased. That threshold you cross to learn from your own painful experience. Moments of walking in darkness in order to comprehend the light. Because the serpent has always been the same thing. The sly voice of temptation, offering you knowledge through detrimental experience and knowledge that will eternally shape who you will ultimately become.
Thanks for watching.
Comment below if you have any thoughts on this subject.
Please consider subscribing to our channel.
Until next time, God bless you.
Beautiful evening, isn't it?
Yes, perfect for a stroll. Let's get some fresh fruit.